Since even before recorded music, genres and categorizing music has existed. In most cases, this isn't that helpful, and I want to just take this video to make a case for why we should stop using genres. Okay, so let's start by picking a genre. Is rock rock because it's got guitars in it? Is punk punk because it's basic and noisy and loud? Is hip hop because it has wordplay in it? No. All those genres have artists within them that don't fit that description. To give a deeper example, pick 3 rock acts: Royal Blood, Foo Fighters and Aerosmith. They are nothing alike. They're all rock bands, but there is nothing about them that is remotely similar. You could argue the instrumentation's similar, yeah, but Coldplay also have that instrumentation, as do Catfish and the Bottlemen. So should it be the case that genres don't actually mean anything anyway? There's a rough assumption that you can make, and that's about it, which is really, really not useful. To come from the other side, there may be a fan of music. They like rock and they like pop and they like a bit of rap. But electronic music they don't like. And it's not because they actually don't like all electronic music, it's because they've heard one little bit, let's say drum and bass, and they just don't like drum and bass. However, they think all electronic music is like drum and bass. You saying that you're an electronic artist makes that person not like you as an artist before they've even heard you. In fact, they're probably not going to listen to you because they just assume that you're going to sound like drum and bass because that's all they think electronic music is. What if, maybe, you didn't brand yourself as an electronic artist and actually did something else? We'll talk about that in a second. There's also the other side of stuff, which is like, let's say you say you're a grindcore artist. What if you're a grindcore artist that's kind of evolved a little bit? You've got a few influences in there from other genres, or just you've added a few extra bits. The hardcore grindcore community might start to dislike you because you're saying you're grindcore when you're not actually grindcore because you don't tick all of the boxes. You've then turned off that crowd just because you've said that you're a genre. This works both ways, and it hinders on both sides.
Right, if you call yourself a genre because that's what you initially set out to be, but you've ended up being slightly different, people coming to you thinking, oh, you're going to be this kind of music because that's what it says on your Facebook page, might be turned off when they realise that you're actually not what you say you are. Yeah,
I think that everything here with what Joe just said and what I've been saying is that you are setting up either prejudice or assumptions, those being basically the same thing, and they're unnecessary. You would be better doing everything in the preparation of getting someone to listen to your music. You would be better giving them bits of information that entice them and intrigue them, as opposed to just telling them what you are when that might not be the best way of describing yourself. To give a proper example, you could, for example, pick a mood or a feeling that better describes your act and use that. Because really all we're talking about here is branding. Spotify playlists and all that kind of stuff, they are better suited being like rock revival or whatever their playlists are called, because they will attract the right kind of audience that roughly like rock music, and maybe they'll find new music or not. People listening to playlists generally are open to finding new music. Anyway. The issue is kind of bands and artists branding themselves as a certain thing and kind of pigeonholing themselves and turning off everyone else that could be a potential fan. So you could brand yourself as a happy band. You literally just write songs that sound happy and are just full of energy and it's all major scale and whatever. You could do that, and just saying, oh, we're a happy band would be a bit shit, but there's ways that you could do that in the branding that just portrays unbelievable happiness without ever saying what kind of genre you are. Maybe you're somewhere between hip-hop, electronic, and pop. That's fine, but if you just said, oh, we're a band that's like somewhere between hip-hop, electronic, and pop, like, that's going to turn a lot of people off. And that's people who might actually like your music because in theory you're being kind of innovative and doing something new and interesting, which means that someone from a rock audience might actually like it. And I'm not saying get rid of genres completely. They're a good point of reference when writing music, for example. The way that I just kind of said that then, of, oh, we're a bit of hip-hop, we're a bit of electronic, we're a bit of pop, you could do that when you're writing. You could say, okay, so for this track we're going to have some like proper hip-hop drums. And that instantly in everyone's mind has kind of an image of what that might be. It might vary between person to person, but as soon as the drummer starts playing roughly what you think, you're well on your way, and it's a really easy way of categorizing certain types of parts of songs. The issue is when you start branding the whole thing as that it starts being a bit useless. So you could say, oh, we're going to have a proper dubstep style synth that has an image in everyone's mind, and that's fine. Hip-hop drums, dubstep style synth, indie style guitars, and a pop vocal over the top. Cool, that's fine. That's really handy when writing stuff, but not only that, you've just made really a new genre because all of those elements haven't been put together enough times to be called a genre yet. By calling yourself any one of those genres or just saying all of them together, you're kind of pigeonholing yourself, and it's unnecessary, especially when, because we're only really talking about branding and how you present yourself, like on social media or on with your artwork or anything like that, because that's all that we're really talking about, you can just replace that with something more interesting than, oh, we're an electronic hip-hop pop artist. As much as that might be interesting to the people who like those general things, it's not a very good description. And you can do better. I think that's kind of it, is that genres are fine. If you're a rock-ish artist and you call yourself rock, that's fine. But be honest, you can do better. Your descriptions could be better than, oh, we're a rock band. Your branding could be more interesting if you didn't just categorize yourself as a rock artist, because you don't have to limit yourself to just rock things. You can't just go, oh, well, we can't really do that because only indie bands do that, or we can't really do that because only rappers do that, and we're a rock band, we can't do that. You're just pigeonholing yourself, and you're restricting what you can and can't do, rather than just doing what you feel is right, or doing what is more interesting. This is something that we've kind of talked about a lot over the years on this channel, and that is the blending of genres and making new music from just taking different influences rather than just taking one influence. And this today isn't talking about making new styles of music or anything like that, but it's presenting the music that you've made as something more interesting than generic rock band, generic indie band, generic pop artist. Because really, that's what people have in their mind when you say, oh, we're a rock band. They probably don't assume that you're an interesting rock band that uses these really weird, interesting sounds, and you've actually got a rapper as well as a singer, and all these weird, interesting things. No one assumes that if you just say, we're a rock band. So change it. So do something that either sparks intrigue by not mentioning genre whatsoever, or whatever. To give an example, a real world example, when I launched my band 2 years ago at this point, we just said, and still do, in our descriptions say, we make loud music, you'd like it. Doesn't say what kind of music it is, it's loud, that's it. And that is a better way of getting people to actually listen to the music than it would be for us to say, oh, we're a garage rock / punk band, which is what we really kind of are. It's more interesting, you're more likely to get people to listen to you if you just get people interested with what you're saying in a description or what your profile picture looks like, rather than it just being the generic thing for that genre. But what do we know? Please join in this conversation, because I don't think we've explored this enough with just this video. I'd like to do maybe another follow-up video with any kind of inputs that you have on opinions of this, because I think genres can be useful, like with playlisting, like with certain magazines specifically sticking to certain types of music. For an audience side, I think it is useful. So what do you think? Leave a comment or send us an email or, whatever. Do the things, and I'd be really interested to know what you think about this, because I've not seen anyone else really talk about this at all. I think everyone just kind of takes genres for granted, and I'd like to challenge that, because it's a little bit lazy and we can do better. Cool, leave us a comment. If you want to see more videos from this series, then click on that side of the screen. If you want to see our best of plays, click on that side of the screen. I'm very sorry that we haven't uploaded for like 2 weeks. I was very ill 2 weeks ago, and we just didn't make a video because of it. Last week we shot this exact video and it was shit, so we remade it. Cool, right, I will see you next week.